Hello everybody, it is Christine. It is the last Wednesday of the month, which means it's time for Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. Now, to be quite honest with you, she had an entire month this time of Off the Board, so I didn't get to play along though because I didn't plan far enough in advance and I was traveling and different things, so I'm going to do my normal last Wednesday of the month one. So let me show you my pen. It is an old sketch. It says it was a blog dedicated to scrapbook sketches using only 4x6 photos. So we've got a couple of photos here with the journaling title, a couple embellishment clusters. Now I will tell you, I have decided to flip it. So I flipped it, I downloaded the image and flipped it. So I'm going to look kind of like this because the photos I have are my daughter with some older modeling photos. This was actually from my Stick With Me this month. And I was like, you know what? I had these photos. And if you go back and watch that video, you'll see me. These, I had another set, and I was like, oh, I want to save these. I'll use these stickers with it again, because I think these go good. This is a very old, authentic sticker sheet from 2017. And then this was, I think, a Webster's Pages piece that came from that Stick With Me layout. I actually had one more piece, or technically another couple scraps, another piece, but I put it away. It was too bright. However, I like this together, but then I got into my Vicki Boutin's Flower Emporium, because I think these will be really beautiful with this set, too. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So, on that pin there, we had like a stripe. I'm going to cut the branding strip off, but we had a stripe going across the middle here, and then a little piece that kind of went like this. I will have to snip a little of the bottom off of this because it needs to be inside my gold piece to make it work. And so it's going to basically be like this. And then I did have a cluster. I took her class, and she made clusters. Not this. That's got stuck by the mistake. And this was one of them, and I think this is so beautiful. And I think it goes with this stuff here really well. So I'm going to use that. And then I have to figure out my stickers. I'm not really sure just quite yet, because some of these aren't going to work anyway, because there's best friend, sister of my soul. Some of this is like, to me, there's more than one person, or you're doing a different person or something. But I do like some of these others. There's an embellishment cluster here and technically kind of down here, although I hate to do that because this kind of takes away from that. So we may have to kind of play with this a bit. This actually was on the floor. And believe it or not, it kind of goes. So I'm going to set that down. Okay, so let me do my cutting, and I'll be back on in just a second. Okay, so there's not a lot of film time, so you may think, well, this layout couldn't have taken her that long. It took me longer than it should have, because I was fast with the stickers, y'all. And I ended up having to take off the border stuff around the stickers. Like, you know, you can peel off the sticker sheet, like the outsides, not the sticker parts, not the stickers themselves, but the stuff that's around the stickers. I had to pull that off because I was like, I can't see the stickers. My brain was not registering. And there was a ton of wordy ones. So I actually did not use all the stickers, guys. So spoiler alert, there was just too many words. So I think I'm going to actually use the last of the wordy bit stickers that I have on like cards, because I'm just, for a given layout, or if I find a really cool idea on how to use like all words or something like that, I might use it. Actually, I just had some ideas about grids maybe. I might go back and revisit that. But for the moment, I used what I used, and we'll see what happens. So I've got my little pink piece here. I've cut off the braiding strips, laid the pink piece down. I've got my little gold Baroque thing here that I got in my photos. I did trim that vertical photo just a little bit to fit it on that Baroque piece. And I'm going to glue that down. I did not round the corners on the sketch. The left-hand corners were actually rounded. I didn't do that because, honestly, I was a little bit... I'd have to have shifted the photos over just a tad more, and I really didn't want to do that. I think it would have taken up too much room on the layout, so I just left those square. I did use my little cluster here. I like that a lot, actually. I think this looks really cute with that. And then that's when I'm going to have to start getting into my stickers, right? Because I've used this stuff, and the whole point is I need to use the stickers. I do use that little vellum flower, though. That's going to lay there. So I think, okay, I think I'm going to put Go Girl down because that's where the title was shown on the sketch. I then realized I don't fix it. I try to, but the little pink piece is just a tad shifted, but I don't fix it. It's not enough to matter. So I'll put Go Girl. And then I think the next thing I'll pull off is this little piece that says beauty begins the moment you decide to be yourself. I'll stick it on the top initially and then change my mind. So I think I'd do that. I even lay it down and then peel it back up, which it was a little tricky. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit concerned. I go, please don't tear my paper. Although even if it had, it's a little grungy paper, so it wouldn't have been that big a deal. So here's where I stick that, and that's not where that ends up staying, actually. I'm going to peel that up in just a second. The next thing I kind of wanted to use was those blue, like, bookbindery looking stickers. I actually, I start with that tag, and I don't end up using that. I look to see, can I use that? And I tried, nope, not going to work. So I was going to put it up there next to that one. And this is what I mean about, like, all these wordy bit things. I'm like, okay, but if I put words there, I got words there. I'm like, I don't want to do all that. So I think I try to do the blue binder things next. And I'm like, I kind of mess with this. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I need to go do a little bit of poking around to see how really other people have used these. I end up using it as kind of a double-sided arrow in just a second. I'm going to, like, turn that vertical and all that. I don't remember now. Some of this stuff doesn't end up on camera because, like I said, I keep fasting, and that's not the kind of stuff I want to have shown all the time. So maybe this is where I decide I can bring this down and use it. And in a second, you're going to see what I decide to do. But it's going to go on the bottom left down there. And this is where I've turned those two blue stickers into basically a double-sided arrow. I glued down a little vellum flower there, and I think, okay, that's cute. And then I'm going to put the little Beauty Begins thing up on foam squares, and I'm going to cover that up. And it looks, like I said, kind of like a double-sided arrow, and I really like that. In the upper part up there, I have that little explorer with the little bicycle. I'm going to add a couple little tags or a couple little stickers next to that, but for the moment that's sitting there. I will put it up on foam as well. And now I have one more sticker underneath my title that's going to say, go where you feel the most alive. I don't know if I've added that yet, but it's at the very bottom of the sticker sheet. And I thought, okay, that's cute. I try character here. I don't leave it there. I'm actually going to bring it down on the bottom of the photo to the right of the little tabby piece on that little beauty sticker there. Again, I'm trying to fit stuff in here without it looking really strange with all these words. I'm going to end up pulling out Fun and XO, but they're little tiny pieces on the right-hand side of the cluster. I don't think I do that for a little bit, though. But this is me thinking really hard, you guys. And I'm like going, okay, what can I do next? I look at this little round sticker, and then I go, no, I don't want to do that. And again, I'm just kind of thinking, this is my brain here. But if you can kind of see that sticker sheet, all those stickers basically have words. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. This is where I added the two little small pieces. It says Fun and XO, so I just bring that pink up in there. And they're tiny. They're almost more decorative than they are words in my mind. I'm going to end up adding love at the top above that little piece there that says Dream Big. I think I told you guys in the last video, these photos here are actually, a friend of mine from high school is a photographer, and he asked to, we'd gone to my high school reunion, my daughter happened to come with us, she was modeling, and he was like, oh my gosh, you know, he asked something about, or we were talking about her modeling or something, I don't know what it was, he goes, oh my gosh, I would love to shoot her, I'm a photographer and stuff like that. And so we went to downtown Dallas, and he took a bunch of photos. I got some really cool ones. I may kind of do some more layouts with some of those because he used like a crystal ball in one of them. It was really neat. He's got a few others that are kind of cool. This is another one where she had cut her hair, and it's funny. She likes it kind of short. I'm always like, oh, I like it really long, but she looks sassy, I guess, with the shorter hair. I do decide to add some little pearls just to add a little, I don't know, shine and texture to the layout. You got to be careful with stickers, or I think so. If you do too many stickers and nothing else, you end up with this really flat layout. That's why I use the foam and all that. But I added those little pearl bits, and that, I think, added just the cutest little touch. So that's the layout, you guys. Again, I'm not going to lie. This was a struggle with them stickers, but I'll figure out a way to use them on cards or something eventually, or I'll figure out some other little way. So thank you guys so much for watching. And, of course, check out the playlist for Off the Board. Again, she's had a whole month long, so there may be a playlist for, like, the month-long stuff. Definitely check out Pineapple Papers, her YouTube channel. She'll mention it there. But this one's for sure the... well, I say playlist. I guess it's a hop. I didn't have to look at that. I'll have a description. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.